Hey everybody. Well, I thought I'd turn the camera on real quick. I was just answering a question over on the forum from someone asking about coming to Japan and starting a business. Well, actually the reverse. They were talking about starting a business such as a Skype language teaching, which is very common here in Japan, very popular. Foreigners will, or there's companies set up where Japanese people can study English. Freight train. Let's wait for it to go past. Let's watch it. That's a long one. Freight trains in Japan are usually not that long. That's a loud one. That is, without question, that's the longest freight train I've ever seen in Japan. And as typical in Japan, there's no caboose. Are there any cabooses anywhere anymore? Just an end of train device, a little box at the back of the train. And it has all the instruments. Anyway, excuse my allergies. Coming to Japan, and let's say, for example, before you came over, here's exactly how the question was posed on the forum. The question was, what if I was to set up a Skype language school, basically, where I could people could pay by the hour, maybe it's paying through PayPal, and I could teach them English via Skype. You know, you could do that around the world. It's very popular, and it's becoming more popular over time. And you could certainly do that. But then you thought, well, what if I then move to Japan, take up residency there? What can I do with my business? Can I operate it? And would I need a special? Could I operate it for my working visa coming to Japan? And here's where the point that I want to make. I'm not sure about the laws. I can't imagine that you'd have an easy time going down to the government office, though, and trying to get a business license with a working visa. I think I'm not sure. Maybe it would work, but I think it would be difficult. But the point that I want to specifically talk about is this: if you come to Japan and you get a working visa, that means you're working for some company, and they're sponsoring you. And to do so, that means that you are agreeing to work for that company, and for them to enhance, to basically to I think for you to be able to work a part-time job, you'd have to have another nice train. You'd have to have basically the blessing of that company to be able to do so. And they are not likely to do that. The culture here is very different. Back in the States where I come from, it's not uncommon for someone to work a full-time job, and if they need a little extra money, pull down a part-timer on the side. So they work their 9 to 5, they go home, and then they go work at flipping burgers or something like that for a few hours in the evening. It's not uncommon at all, especially in these times. But here in Japan, things are a little bit different. Companies expect your loyalty, and they demand it in many ways. They may demand it contractually, insofar as when you apply for the job, one of the contract stipulations will be that thou shalt serve no other employer before me. And you will be explicitly prohibited from getting a job with someone else. And another way that they do that is that they expect more out of you, especially if you're working in a true Japanese theater. And by theater, I don't mean the movie theater or drama. I'm talking about the actual workplace, a true Japanese-style working place, as opposed to a more westernized work environment, such as an Eikaiwa language school, where they expect you to clock in and clock out. They may ask you overtime as well. Most Japanese companies, though, on the other hand, won't necessarily ask you for overtime, but they will ask you for overtime, but they won't ask it for you. Instead, they'll just expect it of you. Most Japanese, the clock, they're off the clock at 5 o'clock, but they're not leaving home until 6. They're not leaving the office until 6 or 7. It's an old story that you're all familiar with. Go check out Unrested's video. Unrested on YouTube has a really, really good video he did with that Japanese girl on this very subject. And you can see that they will demand a lot out of you in terms of your time. So you may be specifically prohibited by the company to get a part-time job, and you may have no opportunity to get a part-time job because of the incredible long hours the company will demand of you. Does that mean that people don't do this? No, lots of people do, especially the Eikaiwa workers, where they are, able to punch the clock, and they're in and out, and they have a lot of free time, and they may have a part-time job. Some of them, I know some people who do this with the blessing of their schools that they work for, and some of them who are prohibited to do this but do it anyway and just simply don't get caught. Watch out though, if you get caught, you may be in trouble, and you're also going to be, you may be liable for taxes, especially if you've been here multiple years. So be careful with all of that. So the long and short of it is, if you come to Japan and you want to operate a business of your own, and you're not you're not a resident of Japan, for example, if you're married to a Japanese citizen, or for other circumstances that may allow you to get residency, maybe you've got a child that's Japanese, or whatever the case may be. If you're a resident, then it's a fair game. You can start your own business. If you're not, you'll probably need the sponsorship of a Japanese company, the company that helped you get your working visa, and then you're going to be obligated to follow the rules, or at least expected to follow the rules laid out by them. And the Japanese government is going to be typically on their side. Keep those things in mind. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean you can't have your own business here. You just have to play by the rules if you want to stay in the clear and on the good side of the Japanese, especially the government. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.